I came home early from a work trip to find my husband's ex-girlfriend living in our house, cooking him candlelit dinners while he lied about his mom helping out. With his broken leg leaving him helpless, I thought I was the one holding it all together, until I saw her jacket on my chair and his guilty face staring back at me. How do you trust someone who hides that behind your back? Last week, my boss called and said I had to attend a conference in Denver for 5 days because our biggest client specifically requested me to present our new project. If I didn't go, we might lose the contract, which would be disastrous for the company. Casper told me to go, saying we needed the money and he'd be fine alone for a few days. He said his mom, Sophia, could check on him if he needed anything. I didn't want to leave him, but he insisted he'd be okay, saying I was worrying over nothing. Sophia has always been weird about me and Casper's relationship. We've been married for 2 years, but she's never fully accepted it. She constantly makes little comments about how Casper's ex-girlfriend, Ashley, was so much better at cooking, how Ashley helped Casper with his work, and how Ashley was studying to be a nurse, so she'd know how to care for people. Ashley and Casper dated for 3 years before we met, and Sophia talks about her like she was the perfect daughter-in-law who got away. I told Casper I didn't trust his mom to just check on him and suggested my sister stay with him instead, but he said that would hurt Sophia's feelings and accused me of being paranoid about Ashley. He pointed out that Ashley lives 2 hours away now, works at a hospital, and they broke up 4 years ago. He said I was creating drama where there was none and that his mom just wanted to help her injured son. So, I went to Denver on Monday morning. I called Casper every few hours to check on him, and he always said he was fine, that Sophia had brought him food and he was watching TV and resting. On Tuesday, he said the same. On Wednesday, around lunchtime, he sounded off, like he was hiding something. When I asked what was wrong, he said his leg was hurting more than usual, and Sophia had given him pain meds that made him sleepy. Wednesday night, I called around 9 p.m., and he didn't answer, which was strange because he always picks up, knowing I worry when he doesn't. I called 3 more times, then called Sophia. She said he was probably sleeping, and I shouldn't worry so much. Something felt wrong, but I was 800 miles away and didn't know what to do. Thursday morning, Casper answered but sounded distracted. When I asked how he was, he said he was fine and Sophia was taking good care of him. I asked what he had for breakfast, and he said Sophia made eggs and toast exactly the way I like them. That was odd because Sophia never cooks for Casper the way he likes, usually just grabbing him fast food. My stomach churned. I couldn't focus on the conference, obsessing over Casper's strange behavior and Sophia's sudden helpfulness. During my lunch break, I called my neighbor across the street and asked if she'd seen Sophia's car at our house. She said she saw a blue Honda with nursing stickers in our driveway yesterday and today, not Sophia's red truck. That's when I knew something was wrong. Ashley drives a blue Honda, as Casper had mentioned before. I booked a flight home for Thursday night instead of Friday afternoon, not telling Casper because I wanted to see what was happening. My flight was delayed 2 hours, and I didn't get home until almost 11 p.m. when my Uber turned onto our street. I saw the blue Honda parked in our driveway like it belonged there. I sat in the car for 2 minutes, staring, trying to decide what to do. I wasn't going to sneak around my own house like some lunatic, so I walked up, used my key, and opened the door. I smelled food cooking and heard Casper laughing from the living room, which was odd because he hadn't been laughing much since his injury. Usually, he just watches TV and complains about being bored. In the kitchen, I saw dirty dishes in the sink, groceries I didn't buy on the counter, and a woman's jacket, not mine, hanging on a chair. In the living room, there was Casper on the couch with his leg up, and Ashley sitting next to him, her hand on his arm, laughing at some movie like nothing was wrong. When Casper saw me, his face screamed guilt. Ashley just stared like I was the intruder. I asked Casper what Ashley was doing in our house. He stammered that Sophia thought it'd be good to have someone with medical training help while I was gone, and Ashley had vacation days, so she offered. Ashley smiled and said she was happy to help Casper recover, staying in the guest room to assist at night if needed. I asked Casper why he didn't tell me she was staying, and he said he didn't want me to worry, knowing I'd get upset for no reason. I pointed out that I'd ask him every day who was helping him, and he lied, saying it was just Sophia. He got angry, saying I was being jealous and crazy, that Ashley was a professional nurse who knew how to care for injuries better than I, and that Sophia thought it was a good idea. He said I should be grateful he had good care while I was working instead of making a big deal out of nothing. I noticed Ashley's stuff everywhere, books, a blanket, her purse, like she'd been living there for days. I asked how long she'd been there, and she said since Tuesday afternoon when Sophia called her to help, planning to stay until Friday. I told Ashley to pack her things and leave immediately since I was home and could care for my husband. She looked at Casper, waiting for him to speak. He said I was being rude, that Ashley drove 2 hours to help, and she should at least stay the night since it was late. I said I didn't care how late it was, Ashley wasn't spending another night in our house. She could drive home or get a hotel. Casper yelled that I was unreasonable and paranoid, that Ashley was just helping, not trying to steal him away. I shouted that Sophia had no right to invite his ex-girlfriend into our home without asking me, and he had no right to lie about it for 3 days. If he needed a nurse, he could have stayed with Sophia or had my sister help. Casper insisted I was being dramatic, that nothing happened with Ashley, and that I was embarrassing myself with my jealousy. Ashley stood up, saying she could see I was upset and Jimmy would pack and leave, but she thought I'd appreciate her help. I followed her upstairs to ensure she left and saw she'd fully moved into the guest room, clothes in the dresser, toiletries in the bathroom, food in the mini fridge, like she planned to stay for weeks. I asked what she thought she was doing, and she said Sophia told her Casper might need help for weeks since I travel a lot for work, which isn't true. This was my first trip in over a year. I told her Sophia had no right to decide that, and it was inappropriate for her to move in while I was gone. Casper came upstairs on his crutches, out of breath, telling me to stop harassing Ashley, that she was just being nice. I said moving into someone's house without telling their spouse isn't normal helpful behavior, and he knew it was wrong, or he wouldn't have lied. Ashley packed and left, telling Casper to call if he needed anything. He thanked her, apologized for my difficulty, and said he appreciated her help. After she left, I saw she'd cooked a full dinner with 2 plates and candles on the table, like a romantic evening. I asked Casper about it, and he said Ashley thought it'd be nice to make dinner special since he'd been eating bland food, denying it was romantic. I told him candlelit dinners with his ex while I was away were inappropriate, and he knew I'd be upset, which is why he lied. He accused me of reading too much into it, saying Ashley was just a friend, the candles weren't a big deal, and I was acting crazy. We had a huge fight. I yelled that he lied and betrayed my trust, that Sophia shouldn't have invited Ashley, and he should have said no. He shouted that I was paranoid, nothing inappropriate happened, Ashley was a professional helping him recover, and I should be grateful. He even said Ashley was a better caregiver because she knew what she was doing, and his leg felt better with her than with me. I told him if she was so great, maybe he should live with her instead. I haven't slept, and Casper's acting like I'm the one in the wrong. This morning, he asked me to make breakfast, and when I said I wasn't hungry, he called me petty, saying he still needed help because his leg's broken, mad or not. I called in sick to work, unable to focus, needing to figure this out. I told my sister, Aria, everything. She said Sophia and Casper's actions were completely inappropriate, that his lying was a huge red flag, and if her husband did this, she'd file for divorce. I told her I don't want a divorce, but I can't trust Casper after he lied for 3 days. Casper's friend Lance came over and Casper spun the story to make me sound crazy, saying Ashley was just helping, and I was too jealous to appreciate it. Lance said he'd be annoyed if his wife acted like me. I told Lance he didn't know the full story. Casper lied, Ashley moved in, and they had romantic dinners. Lance said the dinner wasn't romantic, just Ashley being nice. I asked how he'd feel if his wife's ex moved in and lied about it for 3 days. He said it's different because Ashley's a nurse and Casper's situation was unique. Casper said Lance understood better than I did, and I should listen instead of assuming the worst. I told him I didn't care what Lance thought, he's not married to me and doesn't deal with the fallout of Casper's lies. Lance left, and Casper said I embarrassed him by acting paranoid. I went for a drive to clear my head. When I returned, Casper was on the phone, speaking quietly, and hung up fast when he saw me, claiming it was his doctor's office. I asked why he hung up so quickly, and he said he was done talking and I was being paranoid again. Sophia came over this morning unannounced with soup for Casper. She acted like nothing happened, asking about my trip. I told her we needed to talk about her inviting Ashley without my permission. She said Casper needed proper medical care, Ashley was a qualified nurse, and she thought I'd be grateful. I said if Casper needed care that badly, she should have taken him to a hospital or hired a real nurse, not his ex. Sophia said Ashley was a real nurse, helping for free, and a professional would have cost thousands we couldn't afford. I told her we didn't ask her to arrange care, and she had no right to make decisions about our home and marriage. She got angry, saying I cared more about my job than Casper's health and that a better wife would have stayed home instead of going to a stupid conference. I said the conference was my job, that married couples decide together, and what she did was disrespectful. Sophia said Ashley was family to her and always welcome, and if I couldn't handle Casper having good friends, maybe I wasn't right for him. I told her Ashley is his ex, not family, and she needed to respect my marriage. Casper told us to stop fighting, saying he was tired of the drama and just wanted everyone to get along. Sophia said she was just helping her son and would do it again if he needed help and I wasn't available. I told her if she ever invited someone to stay without my permission again, I wouldn't let her come over. She called me threatening and controlling, saying Casper was her son and she'd always put his needs first. After she left, Casper said I was too harsh, that she was just trying to help. I told him she disrespected our marriage, and if he couldn't see that, we had bigger problems. My mom said Sophia was out of line, and Casper should have stood up for me. She offered to stay to help with Casper so I could work without worrying about Sophia's next move, but Casper refused, saying he didn't need much help anymore. I asked why my mom couldn't stay but Ashley could, and he said Ashley's a medical professional. I pointed out that my mom raised 4 kids and cared for my dad post-surgery, but Casper said that wasn't the same as medical training. I told him he was making excuses because he liked having Ashley here. Casper's cast came off yesterday, and he's walking almost normally, no longer needing help with basic tasks. I thought this would improve things, but he still thinks I was wrong to be upset about Ashley and hasn't apologized for lying or letting her move in. I asked if he understood why his lies hurt me. He said he didn't lie, just didn't mention Ashley because he knew I'd overreact. I told him withholding the truth is lying, and he knew I'd want to know who was in our house. He said if I trusted him more, I wouldn't be so upset, and my continued anger proves I don't trust him. I said trust is earned, and lying doesn't earn it. He insisted nothing happened with Ashley, that they're just friends, and I'm paranoid to think otherwise. I said it didn't matter if nothing physical happened, he still lied. He got frustrated, saying I'd never get over it, that I'd hold it against him forever, and he was tired of apologizing for something not a big deal. I pointed out he never apologized, and saying sorry would be a start. He said, "Fine, I'm sorry you got upset," but insisted he did nothing wrong and would probably do it again if he needed help and I wasn't available. I told him that his attitude showed he learned nothing and didn't understand my pain. Yesterday, Ashley called, and Casper went to the garage to talk privately. When I asked what she wanted, he said she was checking on his leg and was glad he was better. I asked why he hid in the garage if it was innocent, and he said he was avoiding another fight, knowing I'd get upset. I told him hiding conversations with Ashley was another form of lying. He said he wasn't sneaking, just wanted a normal talk with a friend without me overanalyzing. I said Ashley's not just a friend, she's his ex, and private calls, especially after this, aren't normal. He called me controlling, saying he should talk to whoever he wants, that Ashley was part of his life before me, and he won't cut her off because I'm insecure. I said I wasn't asking for that, just honesty and respect for my feelings. My sister, Arya, came over for dinner and sensed the tension. I told her Casper still didn't think he was wrong and was still hiding talks with Ashley. She said he's acting single, and if her husband did this, she'd be talking to a divorce lawyer. Casper overheard and asked if I was considering divorce. I said I didn't want to, but felt he didn't respect me or our marriage. He said he does respect me, never wanted to hurt me, and thought Ashley was just a practical solution. He admitted he didn't tell me because he knew I'd say no, and Ashley was the best option. I told him that's the problem, in a marriage, both people get a say, and he can't do whatever he wants because he thinks I'll disagree. He said he understands now and would handle it differently, but he can't change the past and wishes I'd forgive him. I said forgiveness takes time, and he needs to show he gets why this was wrong and is committed to rebuilding trust. He asked what he needed to do. I said first, stop talking to Ashley privately and tell her it's inappropriate. He said that's extreme, that Ashley's just a friend, and cutting her off would be mean. I said friends don't move in and have candlelit dinners while your spouse is away, and if he wants to save our marriage, he needs to prioritize us over her. He said he'd think about it but didn't want to be cruel to Ashley, who was just helping. I don't know how to make Casper see that this wasn't okay and that our marriage must come before his ex's feelings. I feel like I'm the only one fighting for our relationship, and he's more concerned about protecting Ashley than fixing things with me. Ida?